after you feel these, like, after you have these experiences of bliss or whatever, like, I don't know how to say it, it's like, here's your ordinary life beforehand, right?
Yeah.
And you have this state of bliss for like a moment or whatever. Does this moment feel like less than this moment before you had it, or does it feel like it's more uplifting?
Interesting question.
That was a good question.
I don't know. It changes, but at the same time, what you notice in those moments is that your whole life is based on this kind of oneness. You know, I mean, I don't want to sound too freaky and mystical or whatever, but in Buddhism we have this idea that the whole universe is just one thing. That it's not like me and you and the chair and the bottle of water. That there's actually this kind of wholeness that is all interconnected, intimately interconnected, and you hear that idea, and you go, okay, well, I sort of believe that, or that makes sense, or whatever, and you file it away. But at some time in your practice, it'll happen where you just notice it, you know, and you're just like, wow, that wall is me, you know. And it sounds like an acid trip there, but it's not quite like that. And it
awesome.
sort of changes things, but it doesn't. I mean, there's only ever this moment, and it's all sort of not something simple. You know, it's only this moment.
That's so funny. I'm sorry.
It's alright. I'm just laughing when you laugh.
So you make it seem like those moments are pretty insignificant.
Well, they're significant, but at the same time, you got to forget about them, and that can be hard. You know, to give you my own example, my own case, when the first few that happened, I just got really locked into, just like I was saying about the great sex, 2 weeks ago or something. You know, you're just like, wow, thinking about it all the time. But that thinking about it causes, actually, I was noticing it was causing me more misery. Because I'm going, well, why am I not there? Why am I not there? You know? And then you're just like, well, that's the whole point, the whole thing that experience showed you was that all your life is in this state. But why we don't realize it is a kind of a big question. You know, why don't we notice this all the time? Well, for one thing, you can't notice it all the time, or you can't get through life. You know, you can't make an appointment, you can't eat lunch, it's all this, all the things you need to do. You have to think about, what's going to happen tomorrow, or, what's he going to think of what I did, or this kind of stuff. You have to keep that in mind in order to live a life as a human being. So you do end up having to come back to that. But at the same time, having noticed that, you can do all those other things on the basis of this very firm ground of stability. It's like there's nothing. You always kind of feel like you get insecure in life because you feel like you can lose something, or something's going to be bad, or not as good as this, or whatever. But when you kind of notice that everything is all the same, then you're not so afraid of the future, and you're not so regretting the past, or on the opposite side, thinking the past was great and this sucks,